So there are some pretty good desert courses in Mario Kart. So today I'm going to be talking about the top 10 most unique desert courses. Now, since there are only 8 different ones, I will be counting remakes for this list. Now keep in mind this is just my opinion, and if you feel differently, you can tell me in the comment section below. Desert Hills is not entirely a bad course, it's just not that awesome. The problem with this list is that a lot of the courses are going to be extremely good courses, so some pretty good ones are going to be pretty low on the list. But as far as Desert Hills goes, all it really has going for it is the giant Super Mario Bros. 3 sun and a lot of hills, which can be expected, hence the name. Now I am choosing the DS version over the Wii version because I feel like it's easier to control in the DS version. In the Wii version, you can kind of run into sand a lot more, and there's just a lot more going on. Now, Calamari Desert. This is going to be one that a lot of you may be a little surprised it's this close to number 10, considering it is otherwise a really good track. And it is. It's got a really cool train going, and if you actually want to, you can ride on the train track throughout the duration of the track, at least in the N64 version. Now, the rest of the track is sort of just a big sandy circle, but there is a lot of other things to look at, such as the giant hills in the back, and it really reminds me of a nice deserty area, which is sort of obvious considering this is a desert-themed course. So N64 Calamari Desert is pretty good, but I think that the 3DS remake is even better, because now there are some ramps that you can trick off of if you can get a mushroom. Now really that's the only difference apart from slight graphical updates, and now you can't go in on the train track. But in all honesty, what they did change only made the track better, so I think that's why a 3DS version could be better than the original. The only thing I miss is that you can't drive on the train tracks now for too long without Lakitu coming and picking you up. Bone Dry Dunes is a pretty good course, and it's honestly really fun to play on. But I think the only problem with this course is that some people complain about how there's not much to do here. And it is true, there's really not much to do on any desert course to begin with, since they are pretty, no pun intended, dry. But there is a little bit more to do here on Bone Dry Dunes than in most other courses. But the theme of it is not that different from the other ones, especially since half of the desert courses do have the word dry in them. So now that I've gotten some of the not-so-great courses out of the way, we're going to be focusing on some of the pretty good ones, such as Yoshi Desert. Now the theme of this course is just awesome to begin with, because most Yoshi courses have been really good courses, especially since Yoshi Circuit is one of only 3 courses, apart from all the SNES tracks, to be in 3 Mario Kart games. That's pretty good. Now, as for the rest of the course, it is pretty nice that you can just see the wildlife around you, and the graphics are actually pretty good, especially for being on a Game Boy Advance. Now, there is a section where you can drive through a pyramid, and at first I wasn't really sure what it was since it was sort of 2D, but if you look closely you can actually see that it's the start to a pyramid, and it's just the base that you drive over. As for the rest of the course, it is pretty fun trying to avoid the piranha plants, because if you get even too close to that quicksand, you can get sucked right in and ate by a piranha plant. It is a really fun course to play on, and that's why I think it is pretty unique. So, Dry Ruins, they also have a giant statue of Yoshi. I've noticed that being a theme with Frappe Snowland, Dry Ruins, and even Yoshi Desert. They all have statues of Yoshi. I think Yoshi may be the most popular character to have a statue in Mario courses. Anyway, on to the rest of the track. The section where you go into the temple area is a really nice touch, because you can see the sand rising throughout each lap you go through. On the first lap, you can actually go straight through the middle. By the third one, you would need a mushroom to get through that mess. Now, there are a lot of pillars that start falling in the first lap, and it's really fun trying to avoid them and tricking off of them. As for the rest of the course, it's really windy, and it's actually a lot better than most of the desert courses we have seen. But but there are still a couple more better than this one. GCN Dry Desert. So a lot of people complain that this is actually a bad course because there's not much to do here. Well, there's not really much to do in any desert course for that matter. They're all just really boring-ish circles. However, this course does have a couple things that most of the other courses don't, such as the tornadoes that can pick you up off the ground and put you at a standstill for a few seconds. There's also a giant piranha plant near the middle of the track that will eat you and make you lose a lot of time. Shyambazar is actually a pretty unique track. So most of the other desert-themed tracks, I've been talking about how boring they kind of are and how they're just big circles. This is not the case for Shyambazar. They have actually taken two themes and mixed them together. It is still a desert track, which you may not even notice from first glance, but the theme here is really unique, and I can't believe that they actually added it. There's a lot of places where you can get speed boosts and some nice shortcuts, and there's even a lot of obstacles to avoid. However, the clay pots, if you run into them, can actually give you some items that you can use. Now, as for the rest of the course, the gliding section is just amazing, and it's really calm and nice to just glide on through there, especially when you can get a red shell and you can actually hit people out of the air. That is a problem though. If you do get hit, you're set back a really long time. Now, as for the end of the course, there's not really much to say there, but it's still a great course regardless. So, Dry Desert was pretty good, but I think the Wii U remake is even better, because now there's an oasis, which is a really nice touch. Now, some people have complained that the oasis doesn't make it a dry desert anymore, but I think that doesn't really matter, because some tracks that claim they are one thing aren't actually that thing. Like Ice Outpost is not completely ice. There are places where you drive on the metal road. Now, as for Dry Desert on the Wii U, the Oasis, like I said, is really beautiful, and it's really fun going through there, and I think that was a really unique addition. This is probably one of the best overhauls they've ever had on Retro Track, and I think that the graphics being updated was amazing. And now, similar to Dry Ruins, there are falling pillars that you can trick off of. And in addition to that, the music this time around is even better. So a lot of you may be surprised to see this selection as number 1, but I think that Sunset Wilds is the best desert course, because it is so unique, the theme that they have here. So for the past couple, we have been mentioning how they've integrated different themes into a desert course. This one has done that to an even grander scale. Now, there are little teepee huts in the background if you look very closely, and there's even a section where you drive through the little village of Shy Guys, and if you run into a Shy Guy hut, then a Shy Guy will cling onto your cart and start snatching coins away, which can be a little bit annoying. However, it's still fun regardless. And the best part of this track is that it changes time of day while you drive through the track. On the first lap, it's just the afternoon, but then when you go into the second lap, you start to see that it's later in the evening, and the third lap, it's finally midnight. I think this is a brilliant concept, and it should be applied to several tracks in the future. Thank you for watching. What do you think is the best desert course in Mario Kart? You can leave a comment below.